Selena, Selena. Selena, Selena. Tell me what's poppin', Selena. Ooh, what we talking about? Tell me what's poppin', Selena. Girl, you know I wanna hear it all. I know you got the tea right. Lighten up the city right. City lights. Tell me what's poppin', Selena. Ooh, what we talking about? Selena, Selena. Selena, Selena. Selena, Selena. Tell me what's poppin', Selena. Ooh, what we talking about? Tell me what's poppin', Selena. Girl, you know I wanna hear it all. I know you got the tea right. Lighten up the city right. City lights. Tell me what's poppin', Selena. Ooh, what we talking about? Selena, Selena.
Hey y'all, thank you for coming through. For those who kind of come through, and thank you for those who will listen to the playback. Look, I'm not going to be on here long. This is a late live. I just wanted to come on here and talk about a few hot topics that's been going on the YouTube streets. And I wanted to also make sure that I tell people about my live on tomorrow. It's called Sister Circle. I wanted it to be a women's panel, if possible, and have a few people on, a few women that want to talk about certain, topics that, having to deal with women, with relationships with other women, relationships with the opposite sex, competition, all that kind of stuff. I want to talk about jealousy, envy, an ongoing thing that goes on when you are a woman and the things that you have to deal with. And so I want to be focusing on that tomorrow evening. I'm going to be going live, I believe, at 7. I want to put it at 7, but I might do it early. Just depends because I get out for work. This is the last day of school tomorrow, so I'm really excited about that. And I'll be preparing to enjoy the rest of my summer. Thank God. Get some much needed rest, but I'm also doing some other things this summer as well. But I am very excited that Friday is the last day and that's half a day. So, yeah, shout out to me for that, get surviving through this hectic school year. I wanted to share this with you guys. I saw this um, as I was going through the YouTube streets, and I thought this was pretty interesting. I don't know if you guys were in my live the other day. I think it was Saturday when I was talking about Chud the Builder, and I was talking about how you have to be careful on what you put out there because you just never know. Somebody is not playing. And I was just talking about how a lot of people on social media, they play a lot and they think that, oh, they can get away with certain things. Well, now people are not playing. People are more hostile than ever. And some folks just don't have the time to play with grown people. So you have to be careful about what you be doing. But I wanted to share this. Now, Dr. Umar, they say he's a scammer and all of that. Listen, he may be. A lot of these folks are scammers because they have a gift of gab. And when you have a gift of gab, or you have, if you're an avid reader, then you have a lot of knowledge. It's easy to sway people that are not knowledgeable about certain things. So that could be anybody. That could be the pastor in the pulpit. That could be the philosopher or the life coach on social media. It could be anybody. It could be somebody even portraying to be a doctor. But if you a lot of times, if you're a person that likes to read, you're an avid reader, and you kind of pick on pretty fast to certain things where other people are a little bit slow intellectually. You can sway a lot of people, especially if they're weak minded and they don't have a mind of their own, and they do no research. But Dr. Umar does say a lot of things that do make sense. And that's one thing about scammers. I'm not saying he is, allegedly. Scammers, people that have a gift for gab, they do say some true things. So he's going to talk about a little bit about Chud the Builder, and so I wanted to kind of get your feedback in the chat to see what you guys think of it. Now, thank you, Ryan, for coming out the bushes, because I have, I think, six people in the bushes. So, five people in the bushes. So you the one that decided to come out. So thank you. I appreciate you for coming out of the bushes. And hopefully the others are people that actually support me and not just being nosy. I appreciate that. So thank you, and please press the like button. I would really appreciate that. If you're on the vertical live, press the button 2 times, the screen 2 times. If you're on the horizontal, just press it 1 time. Thank you very much. And this is Dr. Umar says Chud the Builder is an experiment by the U.S. government. So let's see what he has to say. Fair use. Fair use.
You heard about this one guy? His name is Chud the Builder, and he's going around antagonizing black people, calling them N words. And you heard about this?
I've seen the clips
Hey,
of Chud the Builder. Most recently, Art, if I understand and if my memory is so.
And this comes for fair use. This is dialogue, the art of dialogue. So if you guys want to check that out, go to the art of dialogue.
Serving me correctly, he is being held after shooting someone multiple times outside of a courthouse. The man he shot was a disabled black veteran. Shot him multiple times. The brother survived outside a courthouse. So they got the video surveillance, and he's being held on $1.25 million bail. $1.25 million bail. Attempted homicide is the charge. He does have an attorney. And to my knowledge, the public defender, Art, didn't want to defend him. The public defender didn't want to defend him, and so he had to go and find someone. I'm going to tell you what I think, Art. I think this is an FBI psychops.
So what do you guys think of that? I don't know if you guys remember back when the thing happened with George Floyd, and it was the Black Lives Matters movement, and you had a lot of people at the rally. Some of the people were said to be there from the government to cause chaos. And one thing that they do is they divide to conquer. And they wanted to say that the black people that were there at the rally, all the black people there at the rally, Black Lives Matter rally, was the ones that was doing the looting and things of that nature, when actually it was another group that was there that was actually causing the destruction. So some things are set by the government for experiments, and it's really just to cause chaos, because they have to start chaos in order for them to come in and create some type of order. And I forgot what the guy's name was, but he was an elite. I think he's dead. And I'm gonna find out that person that started this group that goes out and they really just cause a lot of chaos. I'm gonna find out who that person is. And it's like, have you ever, be thinking and it's like at the tip of your tongue, but you can't say it because it's like your mind just goes blank. I know my mind, I just have so much going on. But this is what they do. They create chaos to have order. They have to cause some type of disturbance, some type of drama, some type of white against black and Mexicans against blacks or Mexicans against, it's like it's always something. And sometimes it's like they're doing experiments on people in the regular society, and it's crazy. It's like they don't even see us as humans. They're going out there just starting things and then seeing, I guess, how we respond to the experiment. It's really weird. It's like we're in a big lab. It's like the world, we're in a big laboratory being studied by scientists. And that's what they do when they do different things. The government sets out certain things to see how we will handle certain things. It's kind of weird, and I see a lot of the movies doing this predictive programming. I don't know, with the zombies and stuff like that, people turn into zombies, and I see a lot of movies like that now. So that's kind of strange. So what are they trying to tell us? Are they gonna be doing something? Putting something else in our food or water to make some of us turn into cannibals? Like what is actually going on? So this is not actually far-fetched what Dr. Umar is saying. It's a lot of things that we think we know, we don't really know, because again, a lot of these people are behind the curtain pulling strings, and we think that, oh, it's just by coincidence. No, there's actually people behind the curtain pulling strings just like a puppet, and some of us follow along with it. So I don't think this is too far from what Dr. Umar is saying.
I think this is a experiment by the U.S. government to see how black people will react to overtly violent white racists patrolling our communities.
So that's what they did with the Black Lives Matter. And I want to speak to everybody. The bad guy, old school, thank you for coming through. I really appreciate it. Shirley, thank you for coming through. Mental warfare, a CIA jobs. Yes, I do believe that as well. Like I said, we have a lot of things that's going on, and we think that it's by coincidence. None of this stuff that is going on, from the Black Lives Movement to everything else that has happened, is by coincidence. There is always somebody behind the curtain. Okay, just remember that.
I think this is part of a larger experiment and social agenda that is preparing for a possible martial law or social unrest or civil war to come. Black people need to follow this Chud the Builder case. I'm wondering, Art, if he is a veteran. Do you know if he's a veteran or not? Because most of these crazies, quote unquote crazies, tend to be ex-military cutouts. Do you know if that's the case with him?
Nah, from what I know, he never been in the military.
Okay. Even if he's not, that don't mean he's not an MK Ultra, though. Most of the MK Ultra CIA psych op test dummies are ex-military cutouts, but they don't have to be. But I'm having a hard time believing he's just doing this unless he's mentally ill, Art. He could be mentally ill, right? But I'm going to follow his case. I think there's more to this Chud the Builder story than we realize. Much more. Remember, the CIA been working on psychological weapons and perfecting mind control since the 1940s. We are over 80 years of mental research and mind control, Art. So,
okay, who it was that I was talking about, the man that has like different groups out there. I know, and he's one of the elites. I think he is also a billionaire. His name is George Soros. I thought I it was at the tip of my, I couldn't think of it. It's George Soros. So he is one of the elites. He has 32 billion. His net worth is, was it 32 billion? and he is still living. He's 95. So he has different groups going out to these different places. And let me just say this. Let me do some more research because I don't want to um misspeak or anything, or or misquote anything. I want to make sure that I have all my information correct when I say this, because I saw a video probably couple of years ago where it was talking about um, different groups that George Soros was over, that had to do with starting chaos, and so that they can bring in order. And that's what I'm going to find out. What are the names of that group? Because one of them was at the what is that, the Black Lives Matter movement, and that they were causing a lot of the issues with the looting and things of that, but they were blaming the people that were uh at the rally. So and it was just to also cause another divide, racism, and cause another divide that all black people do is steal and cause problems. And so, and then you have the white against the black. It just caused a whole bunch of confusion.
I believe a lot of these mass shootings, almost every one of them are involved a veteran. I definitely believe that this was government. The Buffalo shooting, the Valday shooting, most of these mass high school shootings, look at them. They were either military cutouts or their parents were military cutouts. The Family Dollar shooting in Mississippi, look at these people, man. They always have a connection to the military. I wonder if Chud the Builder's parents also had a connection to the military. We're going to have to follow the story.
Stephon Diggs.
So that's going to be interesting. I'm going to stop that right there and go on to the next hot topic with the Chud the Builder. So that's kind of the, I guess, the evaluation that he kind of got from the situation with Chud the Builder. And like I said, sometimes they be using these military people to work in the government to cause different kind of situations. Like I said, it's all about creating chaos, and most people don't. Hey, lively cuts. Most people don't really see it that way, but that's really what's going on in the world today. Now, on a lighter note, I want to talk about the Cheyenne Bryant. This lady has been going around saying that she has doctoral degrees and everything like that. And a lot of people are saying, no, you do not have no, you're not a doctor. Quit lying. And so there has been I guess she was on a talk show with some other it was a black lady. I think I don't know if she's a newscaster or what, but she is one personality, television personality person, and she was interviewing Cheyenne Bryant, and she was asking her questions, like, where did you get your doctorate's degree? How many doctorate's degree do you have? And basically she was being very vague and basically saying ain't none of your business. And so a lot of people are questioning, does she have the criteria? Does she have the skill or techniques to be telling people what to do with their lives and how to run their lives, when she really is lying about her whole, qualifications, and saying that she's a doctor when she's not. So there's a lot of people calling her a scammer as well. So you have Dr. Umar also speaking about Cheyenne Bryant. And so I want to get your feedback in the chat on what do you guys think about this? Do you think that she's a real doctor? And this is why you got to be careful about who you get your advice from, because everybody that says they're a life coach, I notice the people that say that they are a life coach or they are some type of, inspirational person, motivational person, they have some of the most messed up lives. They can't even motivate themselves for the most part, to get their lives in a better position. They're only motivating so that they can get money, and get rich off of people, but they can't even get their own lives together. So you have to be really careful about who advice that you take, and make sure that these people that are saying that they are, have a doctoral degree, that they really show those degrees, and that you really check to see their reputation, the qualifications, because everybody that says they are this or they're that, they're not even that. Like, you'll even have some people that say that they're plastic surgeons, and they're a whole dermatologist doing plastic surgery work. And then you wondering why some women come out, if they get a BBL, one cheek is bigger than the other. Well, you went to a dermatologist that said that he is um, you know a cosmetic surgeon, but he's not. So you have to really check the qualifications of people. And hey, Chicky, good to see you. And make sure that they're actually, qualified to do the work that they say that they are qualified to do. And Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, she's a hot mess. I'm sorry. Nobody's perfect. We all are hypocritical. We all have flaws. But one thing I will say about her, she's really into herself. And there's nothing wrong with being confident. There's nothing wrong with loving yourself. But at the end of the day, I think she loves herself so much, she don't have room for nobody else. And I don't even think that she would even have the right vision to be able to be objective on a lot of things, because she is so self-absorbed, in my opinion. She just seems to be all over the place, in my opinion. And so, again, I think she's a beautiful woman. I think that she does have a charisma about herself, and her looks will get her a long way. And she really knows how to speak well. She knows how to articulate. So those are the type of things that draws people. And really, what makes when you can get weak-minded people, like I was talking about earlier, people that follow anything, when you can really speak well, when you look well, and you have that charisma, and that you're magnetic, people will gonna be drawn to you. And some people that don't have their own brain and don't know how to really kind of observe people and discern what a person is and what they're about, they will fall into it. They'll fall into that trap, because they're going by what a person says, how a person sounds, and how a person looks, and rather than who they really are. So we will kind of go into that with whatever Dr. Umar is saying, he's relating it to Nick Cannon as well as Cam Newton. So let me see how he puts all that together. And this is fair use for educational purposes.
A lot of backlash right now. How you feel about that, man?
Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. Let me speak to my sister. Let me speak to Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. And yes, I'm going to call her doctor. I am. She says she is. That's enough for me. Now, let me state for the record, Art, I have a doctorate, a real one. Okay? I'm not saying nobody else don't. I'm saying what I got. I went to an American Psychological Association accredited doctoral training program. I am a doctor of psychology and clinical psychology. I will repeat. I am a doctor of psychology and clinical psychology. I am also a certified school psychologist. I also have 3 master's degrees in the field of psychology, clinical, school, and general. Now, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant has exploded into social media space. Her career has really taken off since I first learned of her around the time of my last Nick Cannon interview, approximately 2 years ago. I have followed her here and there. She is a stunningly beautiful woman. And she also claims to have her doctorate in psychology. She claims that she went to Argosy University. And I'm not doubting nothing she says because I have no reason to. The school closed down. She has some issues with the transcript, the degree, whatever the case may be. She has a book out now. It's a best-selling book, Art, and it's doing very well. She's being interviewed. She's been on Shannon Sharp. She's been on Nick Cannon. She's been on Cam Newton. She's been on Joe Button, right? She's a big name amongst the sisters. She goes on the Breakfast Club. And they ask her about her degrees, and she explains about what happened with the school. I don't know the details. I don't care. People start to roast her and attack her, claiming she's fraud. She then goes on Joe Budden. Shout out to them. I didn't see the interview, Art, but allegedly they say Joe Budden and them asked her some really good questions that left more unanswered than answered. For the past 2 weeks, Art, she has been the butt of everybody's internet joke. Here's what I'm going to say. And other doctors of psychology don't agree. Cheyenne Bryant having or not having a doctorate does nothing to my doctorate, Art. It does nothing to my career. It does nothing to my profession. I don't have a need to investigate her. I don't have a need to slander her, to belittle her, to malign her, to assault her. I don't have no need to do anything against that Black woman because she hasn't hurt anybody. She is a life coach, Art, and you don't have to be certified or have a doctorate or a license to be a life coach.
So that is true. You do not have to. Hi, Mr. Brown. Thank you for coming through. Thank you, CC. I appreciate you. That's true. You do not have to have a degree, a doctorate, or anything to be a life coach. There is some life coaches that go through certain certifications. I don't know exactly what type of certification, but I have heard of some courses that they can take in like community college, like psychology, sociology, things like that. But I don't know of any like doctrines or bachelors that you have to be a life coach. You just pop up and say, I'm a life coach. So she can do that, right? Hey, chill. She can do that. She can say that she's a life coach or whatever. And some people, she may very well help. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I've heard some of her, and I don't not trying to dog the lady. I just know she in my opinion, she's not my cup of tea. But at the end of the day, like I said, everybody is different. So what may work for you or something you may get from her, it may work. It might not work for me. So, but I will always say, for anybody that's trying to, do their own thing and really try to help people, like that's your real main goal. It's not all about you making money and you really want to help people and empower people. Hey, by all means, do so. Like I said, I think you just have to be careful about, saying things, saying that you're qualified on certain things when you don't have it, in my opinion, because there's some people that actually do go and get their doctorates and they have to go through long hours of doing papers and and different dissertations and all of this just to get a doctorate's degree. And that stuff, it takes a lot out of you. Even when I was going, my last semester just ended, it was very trying, very challenging for taking 4 classes and doing papers and doing tests and making sure I did projects that I had to do with the groups. It was very trying. It was very challenging. So I believe you don't take it light just to calling yourself a doctor. If you are not really that doctor, if you really haven't went and got those qualifications, if you really haven't went through the pain and suffering of going through school, because like I said, it takes a lot of work to go and get your doctorate. And so when you have people that go and get their doctoral degree, they have been through a lot just to do that. I'm not talking about the honorary. I'm talking about those that actually had to pay for school and go through, the classes and things like that to have that doctor on their name. So we can't, take light on that, be so light on that. But again, if she wants to call herself a life coach, I don't see nothing wrong with it. I don't understand. You said why the outrage against her. I don't have any outrage. I'm not sure what the outrage is for other people, but YouTube is and social media is a funny place. Once you kind of get one person started talking about it, then it goes like wildfire. It's like it's just an ongoing thing, and I think a lot of people are just outraged because it's like, you're not a doctor, so don't call yourself a doctor, that kind of thing. Especially, like I said, if they went through being what it takes to have that doctor on their name. Some people get offended by that because they're like, I did the work and you did nothing and you're calling yourself a doctor. Some people get offended by that. Me, I could care less. Now, if I'm going to somebody for some life advice or whatever, I'm gonna be checking. First of all, I'm gonna be checking your reputation, how you've helped other people. I'm gonna kind of be looking and observing and seeing kind of what you got going on in your life. And because I'm like, how you can tell me when your life is just crazy. But as far as like being outraged or being upset with this lady, I don't know this lady. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, she's not my cup of tea. Some of the things she say, I agree with, and a lot of the stuff she say, I'm like, lady, where you going with this? But that's just me. But I don't have any outrage. Neither do I really care. But I noticed once the social media gets like on a topic, then everybody wants to talk about it and everybody wants to see will have their different opinions on it. And so I just noticed that. But I could care less. Like I say, some of these, like I said, well, we know about some life coaches, y'all, on the internet and YouTube. They're, like I said, they could be some of the worstest people. But anyway, maybe she helps people. So I don't get the outrage, but I do understand if you are a doctor and you've went through going to school to get that doctoral degree, it to some people it is offensive because they worked hard for it. And you're lying about you being a doctor when people have actually went through a lot to get that. So that's just how I guess some people take it. And then some people think they don't like what she has to say. And I'm like, if you don't like what she has to say, don't listen to her. You know what I'm saying? People that I don't support or I don't like, their whole vibe or whatever they have to say, I don't go and listen to it. And it's real simple. Some things you don't have to be outraged about. Some things you could just turn off or turn it to another channel. And that's just my opinion. But hey, who am I? I'm play a little bit more.
She ain't misdiagnosed nobody. She ain't done no clinical work without a license. I haven't seen any wrongdoing from Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. So what do I think is going on here, Art? I believe that Black women, I'm going to call the kettle black. Some men too but mostly Black women are attacking her out of jealousy. They are jealous of her looks. They are jealous of her life coaching career. They are jealous of her podcast success. They wish they were in her position. And because they are not, they are trying to destroy that woman.
So this is one of the things I want to talk about tomorrow. Sheed, hi, how are you? Thank you for coming through. This is what I want to kind of talk about too tomorrow. There is some women that will try to sabotage another woman, and women, we can sometimes be very competitive with other women, and sometimes we don't even know we're being competitive. You know what I'm saying? So I think that with this situation, do I think that some women are jealous of her? Maybe. I don't know, because I don't know every woman, and I don't, and yeah, I don't know every woman, and I don't know every woman's opinion on how they feel about her. I don't even think some people like me don't even really have an opinion. Like I said, she's just not for me. Um, she's just not for me. I mean, I've listened to some things she say, and some things she has some valid things. Some things I'm like, girl, bye. But I mean, now it can some women be jealous of her? Maybe, absolutely. I mean, she is very beautiful woman. She's also very intelligent. You know what I'm saying? She has a gift of gab as well. She knows how to capture a crowd. You know what I'm saying? So for some women, they could have jealousy. They could feel a way about it, and they're like, how dare you say you're a doctor when you're not? So you're scamming people, so they'll go into that, and or some people just don't like her vibe. I don't know. And my thing is, I'm like this. If I don't like it, I just turn it to another channel. Like I said before, it's real easy. I don't get like a lot of people online, when they get outraged about certain things. If it's not, you're not doing nothing to no child or children or older people or just innocent people, victims, and things like that. Stuff like this kind of stuff in the celebrity world, and who's a doctor, who's not a doctor, what the celebrity doing, what the celebrity not doing. It really don't bother me. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't care. I'm gonna be quite honest with you. A lot of the times I just be like, what's the big deal? But that's just me. Now I don't judge, I ain't gonna say I don't judge, because that's a lie. But I don't I'm not gonna say, well, you shouldn't think this way, you shouldn't react this way. I mean, people got different temperaments, so I don't know, and some people I don't understand. I think they weird anyway, but some people have their reasons on why they feel what they feel about certain things. So I've tried to be respectful of everybody's opinions and perspectives on certain things, even if I don't understand or agree. But I really just don't really get into it. It was just something to talk about. It was a hot topic because people are really just out there in outrage. And I think it's like he said, I do think it's more women than men. I have seen some men, content creators have talked about this. But, do I think all women are jealous of her? Absolutely not. Do I understand the outrage? No. Do I think that some women may be jealous of her because of her beauty, her intelligence, and how she can capture a crowd? She's magnetic. She knows how to charm or whatever. Maybe. Yes, that's very possible. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. But other than that, I really don't care. She says she has some good opinions, but at the end of the day, you can't say you're a doctor and try to help people. You're not ready. A doctor just say you're a life coach, right? And that's a thing. Because a doctor can diagnose, right? You can diagnose a person's illness being a doctor, You can't do that being a life coach. You can give people perspectives, you maybe insight on certain things, but you cannot diagnose. You're out of order. You're not in that field. You haven't went through that type of schooling to be able to know certain different symptoms to diagnose anyone. Okay, so I do agree with that, Sheed, as well. And like I said, I have a few people in my family that have went and got their doctoral degree, and they went through a lot, very challenging times, just to get that. And so they get very offended when someone is calling themselves a doctor and they haven't went through anything. So I think you have to be careful about that. But a life coach, anybody can be a life coach. I can say, this is Selena, life coach. And I could do that and I tell people what they need to do with their life. But I don't want to do any of that. Number one, I'm still trying to get my life together. And then number two, I don't feel like I have the right to tell people what they need to do with their lives. Now, if you ask me for advice, depending on what it is and who it is, I may give you some advice on how I may see a certain matter. But other than like making sure, letting people tell people what they need to do, how to get their life in line, that's not my gifting. And I don't think too many people have that. And the people that are going around here saying they have life coach, most of them, their life is messed up and they really need to do a lot of revaluation on their life and get their stuff together. You'll have some life coaches on here, they just as hateful and jealous hearted and want to be able to tell other people about what they want to do with their life. You can't tell me anything until you get your life in order and your funky attitude together. When you get your funky attitude together and your heart right, then you can help another person. So I believe getting the speck out of my eye before I get it out of somebody else's. So that's why I refrain from giving people a lot of advice about their life, because I'm trying to get my life together. Okay. So he says, well, when it comes to a doctor, a lot of people respect more for their opinions, right? And their critiques in which they went through medical school. Correct. Hey, O Speaks, how are you? You said do as they say and not as they do. Right. Hey, R&B, and I'm not one of those people. I'm not going to sit up here and say, you need to do this with your life and get it right. And, oh, let's go out here and let's forgive and let's love life and all this. That's great. And then I'm sitting up here, I can't even forgive my sister or my brother over here. And then I'm constantly cussing people out, getting mad, huffing and puffing online at everybody. And then I'm trying to tell people, but God loves you. Get yourself together. That sounds stupid, but that's what people do every day. Now, this woman here, she's made a living off of helping people. So I guess, and she's made a living, being able to go on different platforms and, be able to speak about what she does and what her opinions are about the world and relationships and all of that. And that's great if that's what she, wants to do. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Russell. If that's what you want to do, but my thing is, you know, um, I'm not going to say anything about it. I don't agree with nothing. I don't agree with everything that anybody says, to be honest with you. I don't even agree with a lot of what sometimes my pastors say, to be honest with you, let alone somebody on the internet. I really, no, because I have my own mind. And I like to research a lot of things on my own. And like I said, I'm gonna go back on that George Sorrow. And I don't know, O Speaks, if you still here. What was that those groups at that rally at the Black Lives Matter rally that was causing a lot of the looting, but they were saying that it was people in the rally. I need somebody to help me because I can't think of the group that and I believe it's a group that George Sorrow, um, Antifa, right, R&B. That's who it is. It's Antifa. Antifa was the one that was going around looting at the Black Lives Matter, and they blamed the people at the Black Lives Matter, and I think they were trying to start another race war just with that situation. It's already was the what George Floyd thing, okay, and then all these other deaths that happened back to back with the police. And so this was just another thing to blame it on somebody else so that they can start more confusion. That's exactly what it was, because I couldn't think of it. But at George Sorrow, that's one of his groups, Antifa. Right. You said, want to say good night to you, baby mama. Hope you having a great life. Keep doing your thing and stay out the bullshit. But I love your natural hair. It's beautiful. Like, I hope you let me brush it. What the hell? Oh, Russell, you a mess. Well, shout out to you, Russell, and CC for blessing me tonight. I really appreciate it. Yes, but it was Antifa. That's exactly what it was. I'm so glad you was here, R&B, because I could not think. I knew it started with an A, but I could not think of the name. So we got some people out here that's really doing stuff. They're causing some division, and it's really an experiment. We're in a big experiment, y'all. We are in a big experiment, and we don't even know it. Some of us don't even know it. We're walking around here just blind. All this stuff is not by coincidence. These people be having stuff. Like I said, keep watching these movies. These movies are predictive programming. Why is they showing so many movies with people turning into zombies? That's kind of weird. Y'all, is nobody paying attention to this? What are they gonna say? What are they saying to us in the next, I'm gonna say 10 years? Well, next 5 to 10 years. Is something going to happen to where you're gonna have some people that are gonna be cannibals and going around here, or we're gonna be some people gonna be infected with a disease and going around here being cannibals? What is going on? This is what I'm saying. So we got to pay attention and really look and see what's going on. But I like kind of a little bit of what Dr. Umar be saying, even though I do think that some of the stuff he be kind of off a lot on. But I do think he is intelligent, and he does have a gift for gab, that's for sure. And it seems to me that he's an avid reader. So he's going to be knowledgeable about a lot of things that other people are not. And that's why, I said you have to find out things for yourself. You can't just go by the messenger, you know. So I'm going to hear a little bit of what he said. I know Mr. Brown in the chat, he wasn't feeling them. He said, don't listen to him. But I like to listen to everybody. Do I follow everybody? Absolutely not. I like to learn about different things, whether I agree with something or not.
Period, point blank in the story. I've told you before, Art, that Black men have a problem with each other, right? We got an ego problem. I think Black women's problem with each other exceeds Black men's problem with each other. What they are doing to Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is absolutely unacceptable, Art. They are destroying this woman more than Donald Trump. They are destroying this woman more than Candace Owens. They're destroying this woman more than Erica Kirk. They're destroying this woman more than the police officers who killed Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin, Breonna Taylor, Sonia Black.
I think he's going a little far with that. But, I guess there is some character assassination in that. So maybe some of the women that are speaking against her are saying some things to assassinate her character or reputation. I have no idea. Like I said, I haven't really gotten to the story like that, to be honest with you. I just think that if you don't want to follow her, you don't have to. Like I said, just turn the channel. It's real easy. Now, I do not agree with someone lying about them being a doctor if they don't have their doctorate degree. I do not. So let me make that clear. But I don't think it's anything wrong with her going and giving advice as a life coach. She has that right. That's how some people make their money, whether it's a scam or not. So that's, her prerogative. Do I believe that women destroy other women? Absolutely. I do believe that. Do I believe that there's some women that uplift other women? Absolutely. But I do know that women, we can be very cruel to each other, almost worse than men can be cruel to another man, in my opinion. Women can be very vicious and relentless. So that is very true. So are they assassinating her character so much, like Michael Brown and all the other Sandra Blair, Brown, all these people? Uh, what's her name? Not Sandra Brown, Sandra Blair. All these people that have died, under other circumstances, under police custody. No, that's a little too far. We're not gonna say that. I'm sorry, Sandra Bland, not Blair. But forgive me for that. I misspoke. But no, that's a little far. But I know women are very vicious and mean to each other. That I do know. And that's why I try, if I can't fool with you, I just leave you alone. You know what I'm saying? I try not to even, now if you keep poking the bear, you might get something that you didn't ask for, that you didn't think was possible, or you didn't ask for, because I'm one of them people. I can be unassuming, and you just never know. So I just ask you just to leave me alone, please. But do I actually go out to be vicious and evil to other women? No, I do not. And those that actually really know me in real life, they know that I don't do that. Now, some of these other, I'm about to say something very ugly. So, some of these other maybe people may think otherwise, but the people that actually know me, that have spent time with me, that I have a relationship, a great rapport with, they will tell you that's not who Selena is. I don't purposely go out there to attack women at all. Now, if you come for me, I'm coming for you. You know what I'm saying? That's just a normal response. And sometimes I will be gracious and be ladylike and just let it go, because I don't have the time or the patience to deal with stupidity. But then sometimes I might match your energy and I might go to the depths of hell with you. But then sometimes I'll change the atmosphere. It just depends on where I'm at that time, emotionally and spiritually. And if I'm willing to play, okay. But sometimes I don't have time to play. I just move around and move on. But like I said, women can be very vicious to each other. Are they doing this purposely to her? Is it because she is saying she is doctor when she has not proven she's a doctor? It could be a lot of variety, different things. Who knows? But I'm not that invested in a lot of things in life. In this life, I'm not invested. Um, Hi, Chadwick. He said, okay, here you go and trolling again. Okay, let me share another video with you. I wanted to know, did you guys look at, some people, like, y'all don't, some of y'all don't care, but especially when it comes to K Michelle, a lot of people are turned off from K Michelle. I found her interview with Shannon yesterday. John Shannon. I found it very interesting. Um, her having a conversation with him. And I heard something really just out of this world, but it's something that I'm not really surprised about, because K Michelle was a very free spirit person. I'm gonna just say that. And maybe to some she's a promiscuous or whatever. But I remember her first seasons in Love and Hip Hop, when I used to watch that way back in the day. I don't watch that anymore. But in my 20s, I used to love and hip hop Atlanta. And that's where I first met seen K Michelle. So she had a lot of things going on at the time. She was dating. She had was in a bad relationship with Memphis Blink, and I think that Rashida was saying that, telling K Michelle that she was lying about Memphis beating on her, and it was just a lot going on. But she was always in some type of chaos, in some type of drama. And I'm like, this little old cute lady, like she always in some kind of mess, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, long story short, she ended up doing an interview with John Shannon yesterday, and it was interesting to me how she says her and her husband's relationship is. Now, me, I believe that, marriage is between a husband and a wife. It's between one woman and one man. Now, for some people, their ideal of marriage is polygamy. They have multiple, the man has multiple women and the woman has multiple men. Or it's the other way around. It's the man having multiple women, and and then very rarely have I heard of, but it does happen where the woman actually has multiple men, and the man, the men they don't have anyone but that one woman. And I heard of that, just very rarely I've heard of that, but it's probably becoming more prominent now. But I think a couple of years ago, I seen a show. It was on. Well, it wasn't on TLC. I can't think of the cable show it was on. But anyway, this black lady, she had, I think, 2 or 3 black men that she was with, and they all accepted that they were dating and that they were with this woman, and they supposedly didn't have another partner. She was their only partner. I said, "Girl, you got it like that, okay?" But that couldn't be me. I mean, that's just too much different energies, too many different dicks. Excuse me. Too many different, you know, just bodies. So that's just too much. Okay. But some women are very, very adventurous and very free spirit and very just into their sexuality to the point to where if they feel it, they do it, kind of like how some men are. Men are like, men can be they can be savages when it comes out there, to having multiple women. They have no emotional ties to any of them. They just sleep with them. Well, with her, she kind of seems like she kind of has some of that with her as well, that masculinity about her. She seems like she can sleep with multiple people, men and women. And at the time she was with men and women. And even now, she still has relationships with some women sometimes, but she allows her husband to have sex with other women, and she wants to watch a lot of the times. I thought that was so surreal. I'm like, oh my God, a lot is going on, Now, back when Big Mama and Mud Deal was coming up, and Big Daddy, they didn't do stuff like this. So we think, most of them didn't do stuff like this, okay? Or most of them had their side piece, but they didn't, they went all in the house and watched each other like that. That's something that has happened over time, because Big Mama and Big Daddy, they keep everything on the low. You didn't find out until after they died. Oh, Big Daddy had another woman with about 4 outside kids. So, but now people's relationships are really open. It's a lot of open relationships. So I'm gonna play this a little bit. You're gonna see Kay, this content creator, talk about Kay Michelle and her little situation. Let me see, but yeah, I want to play this a little bit, and this is BEE. So this is what she's gonna be talking about, Kay Michelle, and that she allows her husband to cheat with random women. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Has been talking about Kay Michelle after her interview with Shannon Sharpe, because she made some comments about cheating that had people completely confused. Now, from what people took from the interview, K. Michelle basically said that cheating is not automatically a deal breaker for her marriage. She also made comments that made people think she was okay with certain situations as long as there's honesty involved. Now, that immediately went viral because people started to say, wait a minute, K. Michelle is okay with her husband.
And I don't know. Thank you so much, Chad. I appreciate you. And Fermit Comboy. Okay, you might need to change your name when you come in here. That is very rude. And I did not curse. I said dick. And if you're a man, you have one. Now I could be more polite and say penis, but it's the same. So you might want to change your name because that's kind of rude as well.
Been cheating on her, and the internet has definitely been dragging her over it.
But he's an amazing man, and he knows my sexual preference. We don't have this. It'd be crazy if you're like, oh, I seen your man. Okay, I seen him too. When it comes down to things like cheating, my thing in cheating is, one, you shouldn't be paying anyone's bills or paying a
Okay.
Like, I'm not with that. Cheating for me might be different for.
What did I say? Shannon Sharp. I'm so sorry, y'all. I said John Shannon, but y'all got what I said. Forgive me for that. It's late. I'm about to get off here anyway. It's Shannon Sharp. I'm sorry.
For like other people.
Right.
Because it's the fact no one should tell me something about you that I don't already know.
Oh, interesting.
You've played with me now. Because no one should be plotting, laughing, or doing anything. You should tell me everything that's going on.
So K. Michelle is catching heat because of how casually she talked about cheating. On a recent interview and TV appearance, she basically said she believes that all men cheat. She even joked that her husband not having social media makes him more suspicious because he's harder to catch. And that's what really started the conversation online. A lot of people feel like K. Michelle has been through so much in relationships that she now expects cheating. Now, there's also been confusion because during that clip, Shannon Sharp mentioned another woman saying that she was okay with watching their husband be intimate with other women. And people feel like K. Michelle co-signed that situation.
What's accepting is that because Nikki Glaser, the comedian.
Okay, tell me.
Nikki Glaser is a comedian. She's a very funny woman. She's been at this thing for a while, but she really, really burst on the scene when they were roasted Tom Brady. I don't know if you saw that on Netflix. Okay. But anyway, she said that, hey, she likes her husband, getting down and watching her husband do that, just don't have an emotional connection to them. Is that where we are now?
I think for someone like me, everything has to be not in the norm because that's just in my life.
I think that, in my opinion, she said that all men cheat. In my opinion, I think that she just wants control. And what I mean by that, she has the thinking error that all men cheat. Yes, there is a lot of men that are very promiscuous, just like some women are as well. And men can have emotional, I would say they're not emotional tied to every woman that they sleep with, like a woman can sometimes be. So I would say that it's society norms that make it to where it's like, oh, all men can have multiple women, all men cheat. So, and let me get in control and tell him who he can deal with and when he can deal with this woman, so I can still feel control, even though I'm not really in control, because really I'm pretty sure she would want a man that would actually be faithful to her and only her. But since she has the thinking error that all men are this way because of what she has dealt with in her past relationships and maybe what she saw from her father. She just thinks all men biologically, that's all they do. So she wants to be in control of the situation. So she said, well, since I know you're going to cheat anyway, I have to be aware of who it is. Sometimes I got to be there. You can't be buying her nothing. You can't be paying no bills. So she's giving her husband what what he can do and what he can't do, because she wants a sense of control, because really she knows that she kind of, with the other situation, she was not in control. She felt powerless because the men that she did love and had affection for, that she really wanted, they were going out with all these other women, and she felt powerless. So now she's like, okay, well, since you're gonna do it anyway, let me tell you how I want you to do it, and then you can do it, but you got to do it this way. And that's what I see when I'm looking at what she's talking about. And that's just my opinion. But I'm not going to give my husband no type of permission like that. That's ridiculous. Now, you can, if you do it, you're going to have to reap the consequences of it. Because number one, I's no dummy. Okay. And number two, I will leave you with a quickness. It don't take nothing for me. And my thing is, hey, I can work hard and get it again. I'm not gonna sit up here and let some man just keep disrespecting me. And just because that's what I think a man biologically is supposed to do. No, there is some men, they might be attracted to other women, but they have self-control. It's about self-control. It's not saying that you're not never going to be attracted to someone else. It just means that you have to have some self-control about yourself. And hopefully what you have at home would not be worth you risking it just to have some different type of, cookie, to say, I'll say that to be nice, polite, but to risk your home life for another woman. So that's what I see. But I could be wrong, but I think with her it's about control, because she already thinks men gonna cheat anyway. So it's like, well, at least I can feel like I'm in control of something, that I'm powerful if I can tell him and I can be a part of what he's doing. And I'm just like, nah, I can't do it. I'm sorry. There's some things that are non-negotiables for me. So if that's what you want to do, I think if I feel like a man is kind of like that, you might just need to be single and leave me alone, because I'm not going for it. So I think that's kind of why she's doing what she's doing.
But if you don't know the history between K. Michelle and her husband, Dr. Caston Sims, they got married back in 2025. Now, she confirmed that publicly after keeping it quiet for a while. Now, her husband is a Memphis dentist, and this is not some random relationship. Now, according to K. Michelle, they've actually known each other since junior high school. She even talked about how they dated in high school and said she stood that man up for prom. So over the years, they stayed connected, and eventually they started dating seriously as adults. Now, reports say they have been together for around 10 years before getting married. K. Michelle even jokes herself that it took him a decade to finally marry her. Now, if you watch reality TV, you probably remember them from Marriage Boot Camp back in 2022. They went on the show to work through their issues in their relationship, and even back then, you could tell they had issues. Now, Dr. was never really a public person, and on the show, he even admitted that he regretted putting their relationship out there on TV. But despite all the ups and downs, they are still together, and they seem like they're gonna work it out and make it last. Now, my question to you is, what do you think about women who accept cheating in their relationships? Do you think they're being realistic? Do you feel like all men cheat? I want to know what you guys feel about this situation. That's all I have for you, and I'll talk to you later.
Dang, K. Michelle.
Yeah, she's a cute girl and everything, a lady, woman or whatever. But I don't understand that. But everything is not for everybody. That's just not for me. You know, that may be for her, they may be for someone else, but for me, no, that's not gonna work. Yeah, that's just not gonna work.
All this time you was Rashida after all. God. She going viral right now because she had to sit down with Shannon Sharp and was basically saying that she don't mind if her husband go and smash other women, long as he ain't buying them nothing, no purses and giving them money on their bills and things like that, because that's something that he shouldn't be doing for nobody. She feel like that men are gonna be men, and if they're gonna cheat, why am I gonna sit back and get upset about it? He ain't doing nothing with them that he hasn't done with me. But I feel like that, bills and gifts and things like that is where I draw the line. And I'm gonna be all the way authentic. A lot of men want a K Michelle. They want a woman that is okay with them smashing and doing all.
I bet they are. I bet a lot of men would be like, man, that's the type of woman I want. And that's what you need to find. You don't need to be with someone that believes in monogamy and wants someone that's faithful. If you want someone that's a little bit more free spirited, as far as like, with their sexuality, someone that would allow you to roam around and be with whomever, any any oh, I was about to say something else. Any woman out there, then hey, go be with that type of woman. Make sure she's no, make sure she is that type of woman. Ask her, look, or tell her this is the type of thing I want. I don't want a monogamous relationship. I want to be able to, have many partners. Be open with people. Don't just assume that, oh, this person's going to be okay with it, because and then some people just like the thrill of it. They know that their partner, they married a woman that was not like that, but they just like the excitement of of getting caught with another person. And I'm like, you just trifling. Just stop. So I don't understand that. Like I said, be with a woman that will understand it. Don't be with a woman that will not understand it. You're wasting her time and she's wasting yours. So go with something that is beneficial to you. And I feel like with her and her husband, this works. Would this work for me? Is this my ideal of marriage and what I have grown up to see? Absolutely not. So I would not be okay with this. But for her, that may be something very well different. With other people, it may be something different. So I just say, do you, boo. I mean, whatever.
All that behind their back. That's what men look for.
Hey,
But
Orlando.
personally, I think that relationship, bro, when you get to dating somebody, man, you got to put all that childish, I want to smash everything mindset behind. You really got to go in and give it your all. Everybody's not going to be as accepting as K Michelle. Maybe she just got to the point where she realized, like, dudes are going to do what they're going to do, or she just can't find a man that's faithful. But what's the point of being in a relationship with somebody? Y'all not even exclusive. Like, that he's doing that. What's the point? You might as well just say smash buddies and have him buy you stuff, but don't really have the title.
Right. I think for her, maybe it was just getting married, saying that I'm married, I'm Mrs. So and so. I think, in my opinion, because she was raised up in a two-parent home. So I'm assuming that it's just having that title and having that security of being married to a doctor. I mean, he is a doctor. I don't know if he's I think he's a dentist, or a surgeon. I believe he's something like that. But maybe that's the thing, having the Mrs., on her name. Cause see, I notice a lot of these married people. That's why I said when you see all these married people online all the time, they're not really happy. They can say they're doing this and doing this all they want to, but when they doing the most on here and they supposed to be married, they not happy. Some of these married people are the loneliest people. And they want to talk about other folks. No, you lonely and you are fully married and having children and all this you got going on, but you doing the most on the internet. So that means you're not really happy with what you got going on. And so that's why I say don't be fooled by people with a ring on their fingers or having the marriage certificate, because that is nothing to some of these folks.
The point, but Maybe I'm tripping. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section, man.
K. Michelle tells Shannon Sharp that she doesn't have a problem with her husband sleeping with other women. The only thing she has a problem with is if her husband is paying bills. Like, anybody could walk up to her and be like, I was with your husband, and that would be fine. But the second she finds out that somebody paid their light bill, like her husband paid the light bill of one of these girls, that's where it actually starts to feel like cheating. And then she even goes on in detail to admit that she likes watching her husband sleep with other women.
Okay, see, that's a little different for me. But right, Juicy Fruit, I'm starting to think the same thing. And actually, when I was watching her reality show a few years ago, um, he was on the show, and I think at the time they were either talking or they were dating or something. They had something going on, honey. But I think she was talking to a couple of people, but he was one of the ones that was trying to get back in her life or whatever. Because again, they used to know each other from high school. But she seemed to me like she wasn't really into him, to be honest with you. He seemed like he was a little nerd. I'm gonna be honest with you on that. She was K. Michelle was kind of out there, you know, she was one of the party girls in school. So and she was really popular from my understanding because I think she was a cheerleader, and he was like a nerd, and he always liked K. Michelle. So he was like, it was like his dream, you know, crush to finally, you know, be with her, you know, when because she stood, well, I know she stood him up. They were going to a prom or something. She stood him up or something, some type of dance. But he's always probably had a fascination with her, and I always had a crush on K. Michelle. But to me, she didn't seem like she was too into him. And even on that reality show, I think was it Marriage Boot Camp? They were on there, and they just their chemistry to me was off. But I said, you know, in relationships, everything is not gonna be perfect, and and sometimes you get with people just to, you know, you need help. You know what I'm saying? Bills is high, the economy, everything is going up. So some people just need help. You know what I'm saying? Even these rich people, they need somebody else to share them expenses with. Uh People just need help, and they need somebody to help them with their bills. I'm not saying that's what's going on in this situation, but I do know that people are with people for different reasons, and sometimes it's not always love or compatibility at all. It's just about, you know, you can deal with me, I can deal with you, for the, you know, you don't get on my nerves too bad. You help me with the bills, I help you, you know, I can deal with you. And that's about it. You know, I do what you need me to do, you do, and you do what I need you to do. And it sounds kind of crazy, but you know, it's, you know, for some people it works. And then when you've probably been married to someone for so long or with somebody for so long, some things you just get comfortable with people, you know, and you don't want to deal with nobody else. And you might not really be in love with them, they just there. Now that's kind of a bad existence, but you know, some people's marriage, it works that way, and they get along a little bit better. So I don't know, but it don't seem to me like she was really into him, in my opinion, and in yours apparently too, Juicy, because I didn't think she was really feeling him. But you know, I think that she did want to be married. I don't think she was married to her son, the oldest son's father. She wasn't married. I think she just had a baby by him. And I don't know if it was in high school or college she had that child. But I think after that, um, she got into her career and stuff, and she just I don't think she ever got married though, but I could be wrong. So some women, when especially when you get in your 30s and your 40s, you're about ready to get married. So some people will just about put up with anything. Hey Royally, hey Orlando, they'll put up with anything just to have a ring on their finger and saying that I'll miss so and so. And I can understand that, because like if you're like biological clock is ticking, you're pushing, as they say, you're pushing you're at the wall and all that kind of stuff, like the what's that guy name that died, people couldn't stand him, Kevin Samuels. When you talk about You get after 35, then you at the wall and all that kind of stuff. You're gonna be a lonely woman with cats or dogs or whatever. And so women now they'll put up with anything, but I tell you one thing, I can I will be alone with my peace of mind because I'm not finna put up with all of that. That's just too much. Okay. So I quickly just I'm not like a lot of women out here. I can move on like a man and go on by my business. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. A lot of the stuff that people put up with. Now you got to put up with something sometime. Now what I mean by that is everybody's different, and we all have our different quirks and personalities. And some things we might not like, and some things we do. You know about a person. So, but I'm talking about my deal breakers. There's some deal breakers that is non-negotiable for me. One of them is the cheating, being just a freaking liar about every little thing. The other thing is a non-negotiable for me is any man that think they're going to be violent with me, whether it's verbal or physical, emotional, any type of abuse. That's a non-negotiable for me. Cause that will get you in the ground with me. I'm just gonna be honest with you. You ain't gonna keep putting your hands on me and not meet your maker. I'm sorry. So that is a non-negotiable for me because I don't put my hands on somebody that ain't putting their hands on me. Um, but there's some people that will put up with certain things because they want to be married. They want to have the big house and the white picket fence with, you know, whatever, a dog, a cat, and boy and a girl. So I ain't got time for it. Some stuff is non-negotiable. You said Vivica Fox hated Kevin Samuels. Hey, Mr. Oaks, I didn't dislike Kevin Samuels. I felt like a lot of the things he's saying, it was true. I mean, now, but what's so funny about it, when he died, he talked about thick women and how if you were beyond a size 8, you were just basically trash. He didn't say those words, but it basically he should have just went ahead and said it. You were, you know, uh, no good, if you're not, size 8 and you don't look like this and have this. But the woman that he, was at the hotel with, she was a thick mama. Okay. She was a thickums and she wasn't no size 8. So we got to be careful the advice that we take from these people, especially these red pill and all these inspirational life coaches out here, because they are living some hypocritical lives. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So um, I'm not saying a lot of things he said was true. You can't ask for something that you are not. That means you wanted somebody with 6 figures, but you sitting up here working, working at, Goodwill or 100 or 200 pounds overweight, and then you have to ask for what, okay? And I'm just gonna be real with it. They're asking for, they're unrealistic. Back, that doesn't mean that you, hey, pretty brown, you're but some of these women are asking in your family, hey, baby, that's not going to happen. That makes 6 figures. And if you, okay, what are you going to bring to the table? And then they say, well, I am the table. What does that mean? Okay. And just figures, it doesn't mean he's a high value man. It means economically, yes, he's established. He's can say half of him in this day and time. But that doesn't mean that he's high value. High value to me is having integrity that stands on something. Outlast when your money is gone and spent. So what more? But I notice, like I said, a lot of these people, they just want to be married. And, they just want to be married. So you're going in and out. Oh, okay. Can you hear me? If you can hear me. Can you hear me, guys? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. I don't know. Okay, can you hear? Okay, so I don't know if you can hear me now, but I did try to refresh my computer. So yeah, you said same thing. My high value man may right. Your high value man may be different, Chicky, than my high value man. My high value man may be a man that takes care of business. He may be working in sanitation, on the back of a dumpster, but he takes care of home. I don't got to pay a bill. The only thing I got to take care of is them kids and take care of some groceries and making sure food is on the table when he comes home. That may be my high value man, and it may be somebody else's I would say definition of high value is different, right? So, like I said, everybody's different, but I just thought that was pretty interesting with this K Michelle thing. I'm gonna play a little bit more, and then I'm gonna play one more video, and then I'm gonna get out of here because I'm getting sleepy.
Which is like some sort of like different kind of romantic situation. It's not like the most traditional, but this is what K Michelle says she's into, and she even told Shannon Sharpe, nobody's going to be able to tell me that they did something with my man that I haven't already done. But she said that she likes it, and this is obviously like some crazy promotion for this Club Shay Shay podcast episode, and I'm sure it'll get a lot of views. And this is not the first time I've even heard this. There's this comedian named Nikki Glazer who was like popular for roasting like Tom Brady, but she also went on to say that she likes to watch her man do something like that or have her man come and tell her stories about what he's done with other women. And I want to know what you think about this whole situation. Do you think K Michelle genuinely means this? Do you think she's just saying this for publicity? Do you even agree with her? Are there some people out there like this? Let me know what you think about this in the comment section and follow me for more content like this.
K Michelle says that she allows her husband to sleep with other women as long as he does not pay any of their bills or buys them anything and just uses them. And she likes to watch the videos. I am not surprised by this. I really did not want to speak on her husband, but I did watch him on Marriage Boot Camp a long time ago. And this is not shocking. She's been with this man since high school, on and off. Okay. Now we are declassing the show. And I am not too proud to say everyone else was right. I thought she was going to be a great addition. I thought time has happened and she has grown, but no, from her crying on the table and now this interview, I don't watch Club Shay Shay because it just gives very coonery vibes.
Yeah, he do. What's his name? Club Shay Shay, Shannon Sharpe. He kind of different. He real kind of country like, and that's okay because I'm from the country too. But he be sounding a little goofy a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, what works for one may not work for the other. Me personally, it's not going to work for me. So that's a no-go. But hey, shout out to K Michelle and her husband. Hopefully they will be able to deal with each other and keep it going. I don't know. You said it's starting to seem real fake how all of a sudden Shannon Sharpe has become the place these women keep telling these outlandish standards to. I find it pretty interesting too, considering he was just in a little situation. I think it was last year with a young Caucasian lady that he had to give $1 million. I don't know how much $1 million he gave because he was caught up in a situationship or some little scandal with her. Um, and I think he was probably the girl was probably young enough to be his daughter. So it's pretty interesting that lately you get a lot of interviews and these women are so open and he's taking it all in. It's kind of strange, but it's entertaining. I gotta admit it. And Kate Michelle, regardless of how crazy people think she is quite entertaining. And the crazy thing about it is she's extremely talented. I like her country music. I mean, I told y'all I like some country music, and I really like her music. Um, yeah, she really has a really beautiful voice. And she's also a talented writer as well. So the girl is talented, but I guess we all a hot mess in a different way, I guess. I don't know. You said he's always been into white women. Yeah, because she said something on the interview talking about, oh, I got a perfect woman for you. I'm like, girl, do you know he like white women? Try to be funny. And no, yeah, listen, I always say this, my family is multicultural, so I ain't a prejudiced person. I may have my biases and my opinions on certain things, but hey, do what you do, but I mean, yes, he like white women. So, and it's a lot of people. It's a lot of these black men. So this is another thing that really irritates me about people on social media. So the black men, they like, oh yeah, I don't deal with black women. They're this, they're that. And they put everybody in the same box because they dated every black woman they think, or they met every black woman in the world. So they put every black woman in the box, and then they go out here. Well, these people, this woman is less crazier than a black woman, and all this kind of stuff. And they think that this woman is better than sliced bread. Okay, great. You don't have to down other women because you've had a few bad experiences, and it's probably because you choose trash people because maybe you got some trash ass ways, you know what I'm saying, or something about you that you haven't dealt with, and you keep attracting the same kind of toxic behavior in another person. So don't blame that on all people. But then when they see the black women dating white men or other men, they have a problem with it. Y'all go out there and you see what these white men do. Well, from what I've seen, black and white men been killing their wives and girlfriends lately. We had a situation not too long ago. A young, beautiful black woman went to Tanzania. I can't pronounce it. It's late at night, but you get it. In Africa, and he I don't know if have they arrested him. I haven't been following it, but allegedly he did, unalived her. Then we had a black man over here in Shreveport, Louisiana. He goes and unalives 7 children, and the 8th person was his nephew. Shot up the wife. She lived, but killed the kids. Then he ended up getting the shootout, and he ended up getting killed. So people are crazy across the board. It don't matter if you're black. As Michael said, you're black or white. I remember they used to sing that song back in the 90s. It don't matter. People are crazy across the board. So let's just stop. Okay? And let's stop saying that other people are better than this, because guess what? We all got a different type of crazy. But it's still crazy, right? Still crazy. Right, Pretty Brown. Just like mine. Just like my grandfather. It is what it is down here. Tanzania. You know what I'm trying to say, Chicky. I can never pronounce some of these long words, and I'm finna get 2 degrees and still can't pronounce some of these words. some of this stuff is just it's late at night. I told you. But you said Shannon was probably teased or rejected by black women. I don't think he likes black women. Look how he treated his daughter versus the little white girl that got the bag out of him. Yeah, Juicy Fruit. And like I said, I'm not going to say he don't like black women. Maybe not. He's not attracted to them sexually, maybe, or not attracted enough to them to be in a relationship romantically with them. But I will say he does have a preference. And most of them men in the industry have a preference. And it ain't black. So he said, and that's okay. Do what you do, boo. But don't get mad when other people do what they do. You said, Royally, probably something funny. Oh, okay. I never been with a white woman, but I don't knock guys or women that do. My only issue is Royally, down in your own race and justifying doing so. That's what I have a problem about. And you remember 2000, and it was either 2025 or 2024. I did a reaction or a live stream about a black guy. I think it was in Georgia. He was dating this white girl, but way like years before, he did a lot of like Facebook posts saying that he hated black women. Black women was nothing, they were hard, they were the worst thing God ever made. I'm just paraphrasing. But anyway, he had a very bad attitude towards all black women. Black women was just trash to him. And that white woman, they ended up getting into an argument at his house after the club. Both of them was drunk. She ended up shooting him multiple times. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it was in Georgia. The young black guy, I forgot his name. But she was blonde hair, blue eyes. And that's what I'm saying. It's crazy across the board. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, Asian. And I hate when people say black, green, purple. There's no black, green. There's no green, purple people. So let's just stop. Whatever. It's not that. It's Asian, black, and all the other different ethnic groups. But my point is, it's crazy people across the board. There's good and bad people in every group. So you can't put everybody in the same box. Okay? You cannot do that. Hey, Waterman, good to see you. I like who you like, but don't mistreat. You're right. Don't mistreat black women. Like I said, all black women are not trash. All black women are loud and disrespectful to their men. There's some black women, just like white women, that are faithful, that are submissive to their husbands or their man or whatever. And they're not loud, they know how to be assertive without being aggressive, so that's just the woman. That's just the character of whoever the woman is. And like I said, everybody is not the same. You can't put everybody in the same box. I don't know how much I can stress that, but you got so many people that will still continue to do the same thing. I'm going to play this little bit about Michael Jackson, because people have been talking about Michael Jackson since that movie been out, and going into his life. And Michael Jackson was a very interesting character. He, he was a little gangster too, a little bit, and he was a businessman. But he also was very upfront with people and outspoken about his beliefs and his perspective on how he saw things. So I'm pretty interested in a lot of Michael Jackson, his personality and who he was. Most of us will never get to know who Michael really was, because of course we didn't know him personally unless we were his family. Even some of his family, I think, didn't know a lot about him and some of the things that he dealt with and what he was going through. Because when you get older, people got their own lives. They ain't got time to be dealing with yours. They got their own, that they have to deal with. So this is the psychology of Michael Jackson. And I think a lot of things are coming out now because, of the movie, that just came out just not too long ago. And so Michael is the new hot topic. So
I've been living in that kind of life all my life. The tabloid press, that kind of press, not the press, the tabloid, the paparazzi, that type.
How do you feel when they call you
Wacko Jacko? Where'd that come from? Some English tabloid. I have a heart and I have feelings. I feel that when you do that to me.
You're beautiful. They'll say you cheated. If you're gifted, they'll say you're crazy. They didn't see the minds that ran faster than words. That's all misfits, not magicians. But that's the irony of it. The same world that mocks you for thinking differently eventually pays to learn your process.
And this is under fair use. I'm going to go back and put the descriptions from the videos and put them in my description box so that you can go back and look at some of this. But this is the secret psychology behind Michael Jackson's magic. I'm just going to play a little bit of it.
And the winner is Billie Jean Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
All right, Thriller, Michael Jackson. Beat it, Michael Jackson! Yeah!
Michael Jackson, beat it. Michael Jackson.
Thriller, Michael Jackson!
Every time a man touched the invisible, they said he must have made a deal with the devil. Robert Johnson at the Crossroads, Jay-Z and the Illuminati. Every generation gets accused of witchcraft when they master their craft too well. Because to the untrained mind, excellence looks like sorcery. And when people perform miracles in plain sight, the world looks for demons, not discipline. Carl Jung said, every human carries a cast of gods within them. The magician is the one who learns to speak their language. He's not pulling rabbits from hats. He's pulling light from the mind. A scientist wearing the soul of a poet. Because a true magician isn't about illusion. It's about understanding. Miracles aren't impossible. They're just misunderstood.
How do you write a song? You don't have a pen in your hand and you don't try. What would happen?
If I sat here and played some chords, whatever, and say, I'm going to write the best song I've ever written, nothing happens. Something in the heavens has to say, look, this is the time that this is going to be laid on you, and this is when I want you to have it. It's like, I hate to say it, but it's like what all songwriters say. It's true. It's like you don't write the song writes itself. And it just kind of falls into your lap. It's like when you say, gee whiz, did I do this?
Every miracle fades into science the moment a human learns how it works. Electricity was once sorcery. Flight was once blasphemy. Medicine was once witchcraft. And yet, here we are.
Good night,
living in the age of all three. So what is magic really? It's mind over matter. It's the moment consciousness blends reality, and reality finally listens. The difference between the trickster and the magician is intention. The trickster deceives his audience. The magician enlightens them. One hides.
So y'all think he is a magician or a trickster? I think he's a magician. He was beyond. I think he just, God touched this man. Like, I mean, he could sing, he could write songs, he could dance, he could act. There wasn't too many things that Michael Jackson could not do, right? It's unfortunate that some of the people that have the greatest talent are some of the loneliest people, and they don't see how wonderful they really are. You know, I see the plastic surgery with the nose. He kept going and getting that done. He should have left it alone, but if he was going to do it, just do it one time. He just kept doing it. Now, a lot of people said that he got his skin bleached, but he did explain that he did have a skin disorder that caused his skin to whiten. And I don't know if it's it's some kind of skin disease, because I know somebody that has it, but I can't pronounce the word of the skin disease that has your body. It's not leprosy, but vitiligo. Okay. Vitiligo. Let me see. Okay. You said it says sad how it took it until he passed for it to be verified that he really did. Okay. Okay, so he really did have it. That's what I thought it was, because I know somebody's skin that whitened like that, but it was he was dark skinned, and some of his spots, it was some spots forming on his skin. Okay. Let me see how. Look, I always go to Google when I'm trying to figure out certain things, especially when pronouncing. Let me see if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Okay. Okay, it's a chronic autoimmune disorder that causes patches of skin to lose their pigment. Okay. Let me see. How do you pronounce it? Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I was kind of curious, was that really true, what he had, or did he really bleach his skin? Let me see. Vitiligo. Okay. Vitiligo. So it's called vitiligo. And it's okay. Vitiligo. Interesting. And so I'm gonna play a little bit more, and then we're gonna get off of here.
Symbols, vibrations, not to control others, but to understand himself. Because when you combine discipline with imagination and emotion with reason, you stop needing miracles. You become one.
You know, when I touched on the 81-point game and me not being really surprised by that, you know, one of the first things that I asked him was what was his approach like when he created Thriller? And he believed that there was certain pitches in the notes and the music that can bring out certain emotions in people. And he felt the need to study that and try to perfect that. And so he can control the emotion that he's bringing out of an audience that's listening to his music and take them someplace else, not by accident, not by just creating a hit by chance, but by actually knowing how to evoke that type of emotion.
Michael was more than a performer. He was a vessel. His childhood was sacrifice. His fame was prophecy. His work ethic was obsession wrapped in innocence. He wrote down his destiny, literally. Letters saying, I will be known as the greatest entertainer alive. I will be bigger than Elvis. That wasn't arrogance. That was alignment. Michael understood Tesla's truth. Everything is frequency. He was turning himself to his own divine radio station, 369. Creation, destruction, rebirth. He wasn't dancing to music. He was the music. And when he moved, the world's frequency shifted with him.
So that was the psychology behind Michael. I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to show you something else, and then we're going to get out of here because I got to get up and do my little few hours at work with my little lovely children. So let me show you this here. Okay. Craig G. Lewis, I don't know, he's out of Fort Worth. So some people may not agree with him on this, but he did do some research on how Michael Jackson came up with some of his songs. So I thought this was pretty interesting since we shared the video about the psychology of Michael Jackson.
Jesus is
when we saw him dance when they were celebrating Motown 25. That's all you need to do is get the Holy Ghost speaking in tongues, and you can moonwalk to what you know about Jesus. But I can't close this out without talking about the King of Pop. Oh, I need a little time. But what my studies on this man has done is really summed everything that I've been preaching for the last 10 years up into one person. On the surface, people cried and wept and
Good night,
mourned.
Raleigh. Hey,
Churches
Time. How are
celebrated and
you?
wore a glove and sung. They sung his songs, and they didn't know that they were celebrating the most powerful Nephilim our music industry has ever seen. This ancient God that was in this man literally stole your heart with some music. When he transformed himself into a woman, you didn't care. He stole your heart. When child molestation charges were brought up against him, you knew they were false because he stole your heart. When he bought the Beatles anthology so he could channel Aleister Crowley through it, he stole your heart. When he practiced witchcraft and became one of the most powerful channelers that we've ever seen, ever. Because when I look at Michael Jackson, I see artists that sell a few thousand, maybe even 1 million albums. And these guys destroy themselves. These guys sell themselves. These guys channel spirits, pray to Aleister Crowley, all of that. And I looked at him and I said, if they do all of that for 1 million records, what does it take to become the king of pop? The king of the devil's music. I'm going to show you. First thing Aleister Crowley teaches you in the 777 is to channel a powerful entity.
So let's just say this. I don't agree with everything that is said, but I do. I know of Michael Jackson was into studying a lot of metaphysics. He was raised up Jehovah's Witness, but he did study a lot of metaphysics as well as teachings of Aleister Crowley. And you know, most of these artists, especially in the music industry, they really are into Aleister Crowley and some of his teachings. And so I don't know how far Michael Jackson was into that teaching, but I know the Beatles, they also had Aleister Crowley, I believe, on one of their album covers, and Aleister Crowley's teachings were something that they also went by as well. And I also knew that Michael Jackson was a big fan of the Beatles. He bought their catalog before he passed. So I don't know every, like, you know, I know bits and pieces background of, you know, some of the things that he was involved in as far as like how he got some of his inspirations for his songs. So this is going by some of what I believe, some of the research that he has gotten from some of the interviews that Michael Jackson has had. And so, but I don't know how he got a lot of his information. But well, some of it I do know, but I'm not gonna go into that right now because it's late. But some of the things he has to say is very insightful. Hey, Randy. So you said with a mad, okay, What they mad? Okay, because he was bigger than Elvis Presley, their king. Yeah, I mean, Michael Jackson was up there. Like, he was somebody that the whole world would know. Michael Jackson. Just like it's kind of crazy. They probably know his name more than Jesus, I would think, because people love Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was like a idol, a god to a lot of people. When Michael Jackson came on stage, people just fall out. I'm like, y'all tripping, you know. But yes, Lester Crowley was an occultist, so a ceremonial magician and poet. So didn't we just hear about the psychology of Michael Jackson? And my perception was, opinion was Michael was the magician, and he always went by uh, some of the tarot cards with the magician on there. The magician could do all types of sorcery, and we know that a lot of what Lester Crowley talked about was being the magician and in some of his occultic teachings. So Michael Jackson did follow a lot of Lester Crowley's teachings. Now I'm just gonna keep it real. In some of the interviews he talked about it and things of that nature. So it is something to think about. So it makes sense with the video that I just showed you, the psychology of Michael Jackson. And let me play a little bit more.
Most of the time you get it out of a child. We'll talk about that later. But when this entity comes upon you, so what he did, he went and found the worshipers of Sybil, or we would say Cybele. Cybele was an ancient goddess. So those men that worshiped Cybele were different. They were called Corybants. Now you've heard the term, man, you're acting like a Corybant, or you're acting Corybantis, which means wildly. But the group of men that cloned this phrase were worshipers of this goddess, Cybele. And let me describe these to you. Now, these are some notes from any old encyclopedia. Corybantes, they had their hair dressed and waved like women. They were heavily made up with their faces resembling whitewashed walls. They were castrated and keepers of children and infants. Partaking in coming-of-age rituals and celebrations. They practiced magic and divination to make money. Listen to this. They made wild cries or high-pitched shrills while they performed their dances to the music of pipes and dull beats of the tambourine. Listen, when the deity or the gods would enter into them, they were possessed by divine power. They would dance uncontrollably in ecstatic frenzy. Here are
Is that what Michael Jackson be doing when he dancing? Now I'm not saying everything is true, but some of the stuff it doesn't make sense. You said Michael Jackson was bigger than Elvis, Frank Sinatra. He was bigger than Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke for sure. He was bigger than Prince. He was the king today and was trying to destroy Batman. Was Batman any way possible? Remember Sybil, the movie? That woman had like 18 to 35 different personalities. Yeah, but there was also time, and he talked about it, a goddess named Sybil in Greek mythology. I think that's what he was more talking about. Let me play it a little bit more.
Some pictures just so you can get a good look. And I'm not, listen, y'all, please be serious with me. This is not funny at all. This man died in this, okay? It's just not funny. But he literally got put on out magazines But just as like Michael, the archangel, I mean, the Bible says that we were made in God's image and his likeness. So our look is not far from God's look. But right here, they've got Michael and trying to make you think this is like Michael, the archangel, some seductive looking angel, because he kept his face in an ambiguous fashion where he really was genderless. Corey Ponce.
He did look genderless. I gotta admit that. Now, when Michael Jackson was very young, he was very handsome. Before he got all these nose surgeries and his, skin turning completely white. I'm not sure why he did the eyeliner and things of that nature, and why he did this to his hair. But he did look genderless. Let's just keep it real. But when he was younger, he was quite handsome.
Let's go through some of his songs so you can kind of hear his signals, because they always have to signal you. We Are the World. There's a line in We Are the World that is so demonic, it's hard to believe that folks sung this in their churches in celebration to Michael Jackson. And it's down here. Michael wrote this part. It says, send them your heart so they'll know that someone cares. Y'all know. And your lives will be stronger and free. Y'all remember that? Then he says, as God has shown us by turning stones to bread.
And Jesus never turned stones into bread, for those who don't know. But the devil tempted him, for those who know about the story. The devil tempted him to turn the stones into bread. And he rebuked the devil, and told him, what did he say? Man is I gotta go back and find that scripture. Let me find it right quick. But basically, he didn't turn the bread. He said, basically, he was telling Satan, "I rebuke you. Go on about your business." I'm gonna find the scripture so you'll know. So I can quote it correctly. But basically, he put that in that song, and that wasn't true. That was not true. Jesus didn't turn the stone into bread. Okay.
If Jesus had obeyed Satan and turned stones to bread, all of us would be lost right now. Folks didn't even get it. They waiting for me to finish the song. Here is a song where he's describing the Nephilim spirit in him and telling you that the end is near. This is a song called Another Part of Me. There he is, dressed up like Evil Maria in the same thing like Beyonce wore. He said, we're taking over. We have the truth. This is the mission to see it through. Don't point your finger. Not dangerous. This is our planet. You're one of us. Okay, it sounds like he's talking something friendly or whatever, but listen. We're sending out a major love. This is our message to you. The planets are lining up. What does it mean in astrology? What does it mean in Greek mythology? What does it mean in the Mayans and the Sumerian cultures? All of these different cultures. What does it mean when the planets line up? That's the day that Nimrod comes and takes his throne and finishes the Tower of Babel, the uncapped pyramid. They are all in line waiting for you. Can't you see you're just another? Says in this song, nasty boogie bugs me like somebody has drugged me. The spellbound rhythm gets on my feet. I changed my life completely. I seen the lightning leave me. And my baby just can't take her eyes off me. Look, the magic music moves me. That dirty rhythm grooves me. The devil's got into me with his dance.
So that's basically it. I was going to find a scripture where it says, and I know it's in Matthew, where it was saying about because Jesus was in the wilderness 40 days And so Satan was tempting him the whole time. And you said, okay, but he answered, it is written, yes, okay. Man shall not eat by bread alone, but every word that comes from the mouth of God. Right. R&B had it and Randy. I'm looking for it in Matthew. But yeah, that's what his response was to Satan. So when Michael Jackson put that in there, that was false. So basically he's saying just in that little verse, people say people taking that and making something that's not, but I mean, it to me, it's like it's evident because it's like basically you're saying that Satan had power over Jesus to that Jesus fell into the temptation, you know. So that gave Satan power over Jesus, which that was not what that was in the Bible. So you just have to be careful with this word play with what these people in the industry, what they do. Do I believe a lot of the things that were said about Michael, where he was a pedophile and all those things? I don't know, but I don't believe he was, but I don't know. None of us know unless we were the people that were there. But I do still believe that he was very talented. Do I think he was in occult practices? Absolutely. But he still was very talented, even despite of that. He was a very talented entertainer, just an artist all around. He was very well versed in everything in the entertainment business. So I'm just gonna say, you said I don't believe Michael Jackson was bad. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. Um, Yeah, I hope he wasn't, I really don't. I do think that he missed out on a lot of things as a child because of his father having him basically being the breadwinner. Even though his other siblings was doing music with him, they were in a band. Michael Jackson was the main attraction. Let's just be honest. Nobody was there to see Tito and Jermaine. Not Jermaine. I don't know what I can't think of all their names. I just know Tito. Oh yeah, it was Jermaine because I don't understand why. I think that's the one with the messed up, funny hair, but he has some type of paint on it. It's so weird. It's like shoe polish, but it's not shoe polish. It's some kind of paint that these men put on their heads. But then they talk about women that wear lace fronts. I'm like, until you get that that black spray off your head and whatever you got going on and put it in your beard and everything, you can't talk about nobody with no lace front. But anyway, you know me, I get off and talk about another topic. But yeah, Jermaine, he's still living. So you said Marlon, Rand, and Jermaine. Okay. Beijing Black. Baby, if you looking like that, yeah, you don't talk about no women with no lace fronts, no eyelashes. When some of y'all men be putting that Beijing in y'all head, y'all be putting it in y'all beard and everything, looking a hot mess. So we're gonna stop that. you're gonna have to stop it. But yeah, but that was yeah, he does. He looks absolutely ridiculous, Chicky. I'm like, what the hell he got going on? But and then Jermaine had a nerve to put on makeup. I'm like, y'all need to stop. You know what I'm saying? I can understand why Michael maybe did it. He had that skin disorder or whatever. So his face was changing and looking, he was probably very insecure about his face and skin. So and the industry will make you very insecure. Hell, social media will make you very insecure. Looking at people that are almost perfect, and here you got stretch marks and darn potholes and cellulite out of this world, while everybody else has a smooth butt and smooth everything, and you're trying to figure out, oh my God, can I even afford to get some surgery? I would love to. But you just have to learn, love yourself, the best you can and do the best you can. Go to the gym, try new things, different lotions, different procedures that may be non-invasive, um, eat healthier, and just do you. You said when you celeb, you feel you can get away with just about anything. Yeah, some of them did, and that's why they do what they do. You said Latoya not looking good either. Oh my God, Chicky, she looks. I don't know. She's because even when she was young, she was cute, but she's very skinny. So I don't know if she has an eating disorder. 'Cause sometimes when people get older, and she is 70 years old. So sometimes when people get older, they don't eat as much. So I'm thinking maybe that has something to do with it, or maybe she just has a eating disorder. I'm not sure. But she is, oh, she's definitely very skinny. You said, did you see Motown 25? How, don't know how young I was. No, I've never seen it. I've never seen it, so I don't know. But yeah, I'm about to go, but I just want to do some hot topics today. It hopefully you got some kind of entertainment for something, or some type of knowledge or something from what I said. I just know that this world is getting crazier by the day. People are getting nuts. People are getting more insensitive, more cold, unloving, and just plain old, just mean and hateful. So, don't let them turn you into who they are. I'll just say that. That's what I practice every day. Just like, God, just please help me not to be what I see. Okay. So you said women decide what their beauty is all I know. In the 80s, when I looked at Anita Baker, Regina Bell, Angela Winbush. Okay. Yeah, that was before I think I was just being born around that time. Um, but yeah, thank you so much, Chicky. I appreciate it. Good to see you. I hope you come back a little bit more and join me. I try to do different things. I am not talking about other sector business, baby, at all. These people are nuts, and I don't want to interview anybody else over here unless it's different people. But I'm good with talking about something that is not beef related, because listen, I'm built to last, but I'm not built to go back and forth with people. I'm just not. I feel like it's a waste of time. And if I can't get my hands on you, what's the point? Right? So love you guys, the Reese's Pieces. I'm out. I'm very tired. Thank you so much for the super chats, Russell and Miss Cece. I appreciate it. If you would like to bless me on my cash out for lunch, I would truly appreciate it. My name is Selena Star. I would truly appreciate that if you do. And if you don't, and you just press the like button, that's good too. If you just like, share, and subscribe, that's good too. I thank you so much for being a part of my live. Okay, I hope so, Chicky. Thank you so much. I hope you guys will be a part of my live tomorrow. Again, men are also welcome to come. This I wanted to do a sisters panel, so I will be having hopefully women to come on the panel, and I won't have to pull teeth to get someone up here. But you know how that go. Some people just don't like being on panels. I understand. And some people, if it ain't the excitement and everybody ain't seeing and watching you, they don't want to come up on your stuff. Because ain't nobody up here. Ain't nobody, you know how these folks are. Just silly, just cloud chasing. But I'll talk to you guys later. I'm gonna go to sleep. Bye. Love you to Reese's Pieces. And let me give you my intro music, and then I'm gonna get up on out of here. Let's see, where am I? What should I I'm gonna do Selena 3 times.
nice to meet you. You just met the blessing that can change your life. You may have met some fine ladies, but I'm divine, sweet as honey, it can be cold as ice. I'm her, the one you've been missing. I'm her, the one you've been praying for. I'm her, the one that would put a smile on your face and excitement in your soul. I'm not just a pretty face with champs for days. I got heart like gold and can pray demons away.